There are many, diversity, you can find diversity in India, you can find diversity in many other countries. But the difference is in Malaysia, it's compact in a small place. Take one street in Penang, Jalan Kapitan Galing. In one street, we just 10 minutes walk, you'll pass by a church, you'll pass by a temple, a Hindu temple, and a mosque. So many countries can boast of diversity, but we can boast of diversity in a compact, small area. And also we can boast of diversity of religion and culture, and we are actually still practicing them. It is not just something you put in a nice corner somewhere and you talk about it. We are still practicing it. So Malaysia is an amazing country where the world can come, come to Malaysia and see all this what you call cultures in one place. And like for example, the Muslim tradition, it says that prophets say that learn if you have to go to China. There's a very popular saying. But yet here in this country, it's very easy. The Chinese are just your neighbor, so you just have to, you don't have to travel so far.
And once again, a quick break, and then we will be back with more thoughts on Malaysian values from Datuk Lat, Anas Zubedy, and Merdeka Award recipient Mother Mangalam. Keep it here on Astro AWANI. Welcome back, everyone, to the Merdeka Award Roundtable. The challenge of building a common platform to propagate universal values is daunting at best, and this is where we pick up our discussion. We've talked about what is working. We've talked about the advantages we have in our pluralistic society, which is good for the nation. We've talked about some of the problems we have. The one thing that our young children are exposed to from the moment they go to school is the Rukun Negara.
Correct.
And the Rukun Negara, I think, sort of keeps falling in and out of fashion.
Correct.
When you look at the Rukun Negara, aren't these the sort of values that we want our children to espouse? But why is it that it sort of is something by the wayside? It's not something that we actively come back to or live. Everybody's got this One Malaysia button. We don't have a Rukun Negara button.
Yeah, well, I guess it's at the back of the exercise book.
As opposed to the front.
Yeah, so it's there all along. I think before that became official, we were already practicing it, in the old way. So I guess it's just a matter of making it a strong recommendation, all the time.
Other thoughts?
It's out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. The other thing,
but this, we will have to continuously talk about it. And that is most practical, in fact, to bring about a united Malaysia.
I went and I did some research on the Rukun Negara because I know the Rukun Negara, just because it's ingrained on the brain. But actually, if you read the preface to the Rukun Negara, it tells you why the Rukun Negara is important. The Rukun Negara is how you do it. It isn't why you do it. Yeah. And if you look through the why, most of it is actually about unity. Achieving unity, achieving fairness, tolerance, a just society, a liberal approach, which is being mindful of other people's cultures and mindful of other people's beliefs. And somehow that is lost in what we're communicating and the way we try to teach our young about the values we want them to embrace and espouse.
It's not enough to, the problem is we like Datuk was saying, it's behind the book. Just like many organizations, they have good wawasan and vision statement everywhere in their office and the building, but the real practice is not there. It is very important for us to take Rukun Negara, and that is the idea. For example, you said, what's the goal? Let's say kepercayaan kepada Tuhan, or rather belief in God. How do we translate it into day-to-day activities? And that's very important. What are the behavioral values we need to put in? And it is really powerful if we can come up, we can show the belief in God, we need to push away the ritual side. What do you mean by belief in God? For example, keeping to your promises is part and parcel of being godly. These are the things that we all can share. I believe we need to take the Rukun Negara and put it into more than just words printed behind a book. We need to show how do you behave in the idea.
Let me throw out one more idea before we go to another break. Mother, you have in the course of your work, you must have had many an occasion to discipline children. Should our leaders, should we as a society embrace if we cannot stop ourselves from being intolerant, and not appreciating, if we're going to allow people in our society to make racist remarks and threaten stability, should we do, say, for instance, what FIFA is doing? The International Football Federation doesn't allow racism in the games. They fine people. They fine clubs whose fans get out of control. Do we actually need to, at this point, before things go too far, wield a big stick?
Well, by wielding a big stick, we cannot change the hearts, you see. The adults and those in positions should be role models, because children follow what the others do. So this is important. And another thing is, he was just mentioning about that topic where, what were you just saying? About Rukun Negara.
The practice of it.
Practice.
The
Now,
behavioral practice.
whatever values are spoken about must seep down right to the rock bottom, or right to the man on the street. And if it doesn't seep down in the way the delivery system doesn't work well, then the whole thing will sort of flop. So everything depends on the delivery system. We can talk a lot at the top level, but then the way the relationship is between the boss and the employee, the shopkeeper and the let us say the rulers and the subjects, it must seep down. And when it seeps down well in every field, in the field of education, in the field of sports, in schools and all that, then of course it will really become, it can be made practical.
Datuk, your thoughts?
Well, the leaders who are influential would manage to bring changes to the group. So we see changes within certain groups, certain people. These are all from leaders. If the leaders are not strong in bringing their directives, people won't listen. But it is how from the head of a family who is influential, or to the head of the government who is influential, these are the leaders who can bring the good messages and good practices to the people.
The word is good practices.
Yeah.
I think the younger people call it walking the talk.
Walking
the talk. Okay, we're going to take one more break and come back to our final segment on the Merdeka Award Roundtable. Taking Malaysian Values to the global stage returns right after this break. Welcome back, everyone. This is where we'll close out the discussion share some final thoughts on what has been fascinating discourse. For all the programs that we have put in place towards nation building, we mustn't forget that a major component of success is predicated on sustaining the unique multiplicity of our country and her people. Our strength is in our diversity, multi-ethnic, multiracial, multi-religious, multicultural. Collectively, that makes us a people with values and dynamics that will foster national growth and prosperity. Datuk, let's come back to you for some final thoughts, which if I can sort of direct a little bit. If you're going to embrace diversity and then shout it out to the world as one of your values, then it must be wholeheartedly embraced at home and in practice, which you in your work have always managed to do. What do you think has given you that very broad cultural perspective?
When I draw, I want the finished drawing to be something that will reach out to everybody. And it's me making friends with everyone. Whoever reads it will become my friend. And it can be people here, it can be some Japanese tourists passing by, it can be like the Germans you mentioned. It should suit everyone. It's like me saying hello, and I have read or I have admired cartoon works by other people from across the seas, and they make me smile. And these are the people who get to know me through their work, and I get to know them. So, in other words, it's all about making friends and finding things in common, not really ridiculing. If you ridicule, usually it's yourself. I mean, like I did the book Kampung Boy, which has been translated to so many languages, although you don't need really to translate, but the captions really make the drawings complete, because one page of drawing with a bit of caption will make the whole thing complete. That is just to introduce myself, where I'm from. I was born in a certain kampung. I grew up in this sort of house, and that is the first hello to everybody. And that was in 30 odd years ago. And so each one of the drawing, it is to reach out to people in a friendly way. And so I got invited by the embassies. I got invited to various countries. They knew when I visit their countries, I would come back with drawings of what I saw. So, and these drawings are usually cultural and way of life, and made everybody smile. So I think that's what I've been doing, and I'm very lucky because the people support me.
And we're very lucky. We've got to enjoy your work for many, many years. Mother, your final thoughts?
Well, for a nation to prosper, to progress, it is, and for an individual has to progress. And for that matter, it is very, very important to educate the people the value of the creative energy in a person. All beings create, even the lower animals create, but they create only their own species. But human beings are not expected only to create their own species, because they are guided by the mind and the will. There's the mind, the spirit, and the will to do things. So as such, I think they will have to do something better than use their creative energy only for the reproduction of their own species. So to be able to do that, one must understand this, how valuable it is. It's a God-given creative energy. And this energy, to be able to be used for other purposes, it depends on our mental consciousness, the stage of our mental consciousness. Our mind, of course, travels. It travels like a monkey. But then, we will have to try and raise our mental consciousness to a higher level so that we can operate from here, from the head. And this in Sanskrit is known as Agnya Chakra. And once it is done, you will find that the results of our efforts will be for a greater majority. This is where we get people creating poems, right? Music and discoveries and inventions. All this takes place at a higher level where it is the same creative energy is used to create other possibilities which help mankind.
Okay. I understand that you have written a poem. Let's go to Anas first for his closing thoughts, and then we'll listen to you recite yours. Anas, why is it we have so much trouble realizing that our diversity is to be treasured? I mean, you alluded to this, that our diversity isn't just since Merdeka. It's gone back for hundreds of years as a trading nation.
Correct. Well, I think Malaysians still do, we still have not, I think we should learn to appreciate it for a simple reason, because this is so unique. It's unfortunate we don't. It's really unfortunate. I'll give you an example. I have a client who is from Germany, and what she says was she was here for just the first 1 month. She says, "You guys are amazing." That's the words from someone from outside. Yeah? And the key thing is we need to do something about it. We need to not just wait for the government to have a One Malaysia thing. We should take our own initiative. Every single one of Malaysians, for example, Datuk Lah has used his creativity and his past experience as a Malaysian and come up with a creative work. And we all can do that. That's what we believe at my company and myself. We think we should not wait for others to take the action. We take our action ourselves. We practice it from the very beginning. I think that's better. I think why Malaysians are still not understanding this, I think we